Welcome to Spotlight Rewind, where we rewind and replay some of the Athlete Spotlight features that have aired on Sports Central. Now in this episode, we're shining our spotlight on Kristen Martinez, a volleyball star at Lakeland High School. But a severe knee injury at the beginning of her senior season changed everything, or did it? We'll talk with Kristen and find out how she turned a negative into a positive. And we'll feature one of Polk County's best quarterbacks, Christian Alexander. Last year, he led Lakeland Christian School to its best season ever. His former coach, Wayne Peace, will be here to update us on how Christian is doing in his freshman year at Florida International University. So join us as we rewind, replay, and update you on where these athletes are now. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Spotlight Rewind, a program where we highlight the student athletes from all over Polk County. Now, coming up on this show, we're going to focus on two athletes, one from the gridiron, the other from volleyball. Now, both athletes were definite leaders of their teams. Christian Alexander, with his strong play at quarterback, helped lead the Lakeland Christian Vikings to their best year ever. Now, a little later, we're going to talk with Wayne Peace. He's the head coach there at Lakeland Christian about the impact Christian Alexander had on his team and how life is now going to be different without him. But let's start with volleyball. Joining us here in the studio is Kristen Martinez and her coach from high school, Ramsey, part of the still coaching there with the Lakeland Dreadnoughts. And ladies, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
No problem, thank you.
Looking forward to catching up and finding out where life has taken you. Now, a severe knee injury at the beginning of her senior season was able to take Kristen maybe off the court, but it couldn't keep her on the sideline because her heart was still there with her team. Kristen's story is really about how life and dreams can suddenly turn and change, but you'll see how she was able to successfully make a course correction. So with that, let's rewind and replay our athlete spotlight on Kristen Martinez.
We're second, they're not, just like it and they're done. You great girl, let's work, there's so much talent there. You good, you good.
We're very silly. We like to mess around and stuff. Every time before our home games, we always have all the songs playing. We have our Dreadnought cheer. It helps us pump up and it helps us loosen up so that way we can go out there and play the best that we can. It has gone by so fast. I was just cleaning out my locker the other day and I saw papers from my freshman year and I'm like, wow, like it's been an instant flash. I mean, it's really sad to think about how quickly it went. This year I hurt my knee by twisting it. I went to set and I went down too far and then my knee twisted and it popped. There was a meniscus tear and that I scraped off some of my cartilage on my kneecap. We went right away to go see my doctor and he knew instantly that something was wrong. I was sad because I wouldn't be able to play for this season and then about possibly having college out too.
And she's still going to be someone that we turn to lead this team regardless if she's on the court or not.
Then my doctor said that it would take around like 6 weeks to recover. And I'm like, okay, well I can jump in at probably the most important part of the season and help contribute with my team.
Fortunately, we were able to get her on the court the last 3 matches and her teammates were thrilled.
There are many different things that you can do as a captain. You can lead on the team by showing them what to do, or you can motivate them in any way. You can help them by letting them know what they're either doing wrong or what they're doing right and they keep doing it. And so that's what I was able to work on more, being on the sideline and helping assist with my team. Whenever everybody does their job, it builds the whole team so everybody can work together.
I will give everything that I have. I will play all out.
And whenever we say what we are going to do, it allows our teammates to know what we're supposed to do for them. Me and Coach Crystal have a very strong relationship because since I've been with her since my freshman year, Every time after a play, she has taught me to run her team a certain way because I'm supposed to be the coach on the court. I would like to go and play volleyball in college, but because of my knee situations, it wouldn't be very healthy for my knee like later on in my life, because I'm still going to be having problems early on. It's just helping to prevent that from me struggling whenever I could be living my life. I was able to play the sport that I love, but now it's that I have to focus on my future as I'm growing up.
You get to know kids and you get to know their families. And I'm so fortunate to meet so many people, but sometimes you just get those people that come through your program that you hope to make a difference in their lives, but in the end they make a difference in yours.
My volleyball career isn't over. I mean, I could possibly be a coach one day.
I'm just really glad that she's still going to be a huge part of volleyball, because volleyball needs people like her.
I mean, you have to go out there every single match and you have to play every single point that like it's your last. You have to stay focused, you have to have fun, because that's the best part, is whenever you have fun, that's whenever you would win. And with all the girls that we have, we are so very close, and so it just makes it a lot more fun. Like whenever we were playing George Jenkins, we wwere losing, but we were still having fun. Like we were still there for each other. It's not like no one was mad at each other or blaming each other, and that's what teamwork really is. And you work together, you play with all heart every single match, and you just have fun. I'm Kristen Martinez from Lakeland High School.
And we're back now, and wow, that seems so long ago, but it wasn't. It was only a few months ago. Kristen, good to have you here in the studio. Coach Ramsey, good to have you here as well. I just have to catch up because I understand that when that game I was at was your first game back. It was interesting. I didn't know about your injury because I remember reading the paper, the press clippings, how at the beginning of the season you were touted as a Player of the Year candidate, and so. Before the season even starts, Kristen, take us back. What was your mindset when you're thinking, I'm not even going to be able to play? You must have had high hopes dashed.
Oh, yeah. I remember the day that it happened, and I started freaking out because I'm like, I'm not going to be able to play. I mean, there goes scholarships, there goes my goal to be Player of the Year. I mean, it was really depressed.
I mean, obviously you were able to make a recovery, but as we heard in your story, you're still not really wanting to play in the future. I mean, to make that kind of decision too has to be, because I know a lot of people say, I'm just going to risk it. But how do you think you were able to make that decision? Why did you say, I'm not going to take that chance?
Well, I just had a lot of support and people telling me that based on my experiences with my knees, it's not very good. I mean, I had 3 surgeries, and that's just kind of like telling you, you need to stop. I mean, it's not like, keep going. And
right.
So.
Now, actually, and Crystal, you were telling me you got a chance she played a little bit more after the season. The season for you really was those last 3 games.
Right.
And it didn't turn out very well for you, I know. But afterwards, with a national tournament, tell me about how did you get her to play for you there, Crystal?
Well, she started coaching in January. She was an assistant coach for our 16 and under club team. And she did a very good job. And my setter that I was going to take to nationals was unable to make that commitment. She was going to her church camp. And I needed a setter for my 18s national team. And Kristen was getting around pretty well. And she talked to her parents about it. She said, let's try this thing out. And she started practicing with my team. It was doing very, very well, holding her own. It didn't look like she had stepped off the court at all. And she was able to participate in that tournament.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know that I imagine that would be tempting for me. I would think, if I can do this today, I can still go ahead tomorrow.
Right.
Do you have to battle that still, or do you think, no, this is the right thing, don't go forward?
Yes, I still battle it because I'm going off to college soon, and I've been talking to a bunch of people, and I found this volleyball club there, and they started talking to me and asking if I wanted to try out, and I'm still, right now, trying to figure out if I want to do that or not.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, it's a sport that I've always loved to do, and it's
sure.
Like whenever I get the chance to play, I want to do it. But I still have to think back and realize that I probably won't be able to.
Yeah, that's a tough call, but you got to make the right call, not maybe the emotional call. We have some video. Speaking of emotions, we have some video. I noticed when I was there, and the girls, they like to sing, they like to shout, they like to do all these things. And you were the big ringleader, so to speak, with all the cheers that you guys were doing. But her leadership, though, goes more than just leading these cheers. How important was she on the court? I mean, they're here leading the cheers, and you're there right there leading it, but beyond the cheers, Crystal, how important was she in terms of really a coach on the court?
She was extremely important, very valuable, very high volleyball IQ. Our setter that had to take her place was coming up from junior varsity. She hadn't played at the varsity level. Significantly faster paced game at the varsity level. Kristen had been on varsity since her freshman season, so she just kind of took her under her wing, and Kristen said, "Coach, let me help her." And I said, "Absolutely, go for it." And her and Alex have a really great relationship now because of it. And Alex, Alex is a senior this year, and because of Kristen's assistance last year, she had a phenomenal club season, and she is a player to watch this year from Polk County.
When you think about your future with the sport, obviously coaching seems to be something that would be perfect for you, and I think that's something you're interested in, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I am. I'm wanting to see whenever I come back if I'll be able to just either come and watch them play for their Dreadnought season, or maybe assist if I can. Any way that I can try to help, I mean, that's what I want to do.
How much are you going to miss her? Obviously, you didn't have her for 3 games last year, but she was still there on the sidelines, coaching with a great positive attitude. How much are you going to miss her this coming year?
Oh, words can't express. I don't have the words.
We may have some tears here to express it. And Kristen, how much are you going to miss? I know it's fun to go to college, but when you think back at your coach you've had for 4 years and the relationships, how much are you going to miss them? More tears are coming here.
Yes, more tears.
Not trying to make everyone cry here, but
yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Like just watching the video and remembering all that stuff that happened and thinking back to, like, it's, I don't know. She always shows all these new clips and stuff of the Dreadnoughts this season, and it's kind of sad to think it's already gone. Like I remember whenever Alex was a freshman. And now she's a senior, and it flies by.
Yeah,
I mean, it's so fast.
You made reference that into the story, how you said something about you were cleaning out your locker and you found something from your freshman year.
Right.
It is amazing how fast life goes. So again, why it's so important to make the right kind of decisions, because if you hurt your knee, you could be living with that for the rest of your life, and you're still young. You got a long ways to go. Speaking of life, your parents are a big part of your life, and I know we have a couple of clips that I want to show our viewers of your mom. If you got, look at that, there she is. They're third from the left. Jonna Moon. She went to Bartow, and growing up, I mean, were you playing volleyball at home and she was instructing you, or I guess you like those knee pads too, don't you? But at the game, there's your mom, there's your dad, and there's coach, of course. Your mom she's still giving some instruction here. How important has it been for your parents for your volleyball career?
Oh, they've been there like through the whole entire way. Like I've said in the past before that she was trying to help me improve on my setting, and I remember we would be standing outside at night. We'd be practicing setting. She'll be working with me, saying, "Your hands look funny, and you need to fix that." And so she would just kind of help that, and then I would go back into the gym. And I do remember a couple times whenever Crystal and the other coaches would say, "You've improved a lot," and I can tell. And it's my mom to thank for that.
Yeah, often we see with stories, you see a lot of guys, athletes, their dads were. But I think it's so cool when you see when the girls, and they're kind of, I don't know if you did it on purpose, of following perhaps your mom's footsteps in a sport that she was involved and did very well with, obviously, and you did the same thing here. And I know it's got to be disappointing to not think that you got to be that Polk County Player of the Year, but really when you think about what you accomplished off the court with your team while they were on the court, I know they'd vote for you as player of the year. Real quickly before we run out of time, you're getting ready to go to college. I know you're literally don't have your bags packed yet, but you're leaving soon. Tell us where you're going and what are again the plans?
I'm going to Florida Gulf Coast University. I'm leaving this Saturday, and I don't know. I mean, my parents are having a hard time with it. My dad tries not to admit it. He calls it camp.
Well, you're still here in Florida, right?
Right.
Florida Gulf Coast is where? It's
in Fort Myers.
Fort Myers.
It's only 2 hours away.
Okay.
So.
Well, I remember when I went to college, I was 2 hours away. which meant I was home a lot on the weekends. But then after a while, it became less and less frequent. And my parents said, "You just need to stay there. We're doing fine without you." But volleyball, whether you're playing, whether you do this try it or not, or working someday as a coach, I have a feeling it's going to continue to be in your life.
Right.
And I have a feeling you two are going to kind of get back together working, coach, assistant coach, or whatever. You think I'm right?
Absolutely.
So, yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
The door's always open in that gym for her, always.
Love you.
I love you too.
What is it? Is it go Lakeland here? Is that the L? See, I thought you were looking at me saying he's loser, but I didn't realize
No.
the L was for Lakeland.
Yes, right.
No, anyway, Kristen, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming in. Wish you the very best in college and whatever you do, and keep your knees healthy, please. And Crystal, I know the season without Kristen is coming up, but you know what? That just means there's more challenges, and that's what you like about the sport, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, ladies, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Wish
You're
you the
welcome.
very best. All right, are you ready for some football? Well, of course you are. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to introduce you again to Christian Alexander. When Tom comes to football, he knew his game. We'll show you that right after this. Stay with us.
That's my dad.
In this journey, we all have a role. Every life counts on you knowing yours.
All right, welcome back to Spotlight Rewind. As you can see, Coach Wayne Peace is here in the studio, and I'm excited about talking to you about your school and your team, and looking back and finding out about your experiences with Christian Alexander.
Hey, appreciate you having me here. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. When you think about some of the top quarterbacks in Polk County, you really need to put Christian Alexander at the top of your list, and we're going to tell you statistically why, but also there's some reasons about the man, the person himself that Coach will help us know as well. But when we find out more about Christian Alexander, the best thing we can do is just what? Let's rewind and replay our athlete spotlight on Christian Alexander.
That's why we play the game, for those type of games, those hard, tough games that it's going to come down to the last possession of the game. You know, we practice so hard all summer long.
We would have been in trouble this year without Christian Alexander. We've really had to throw the ball. He has been, and it makes it tough when you're throwing it and teams know you have to throw it. And he's just been phenomenal. He's been everything we've expected of him, and he's been our leader this year, there's no doubt.
As a quarterback, you have to be the leader on and off the field, no matter what. You know, as the quarterback, you know, he's the head of everything. You know, he has to lead the team. You know, be that guy. You know, to direct things and take control. You know, I just want my team to know that I'm always with them. You know, even if I'm not on the field on defense, you know, I just want them to know that I'm cheering them on. You know, I'm trying to pump them up and get them ready. You know, I started as an 8th grader, and you know, I've just grown ever since. You know, at first I didn't know like defenses and things like that, but ever since then I've just grown and matured, and I think I've come a long way. I mean, my senior year means everything. You know, it's our last chance, you know, to make it to the playoffs and get over the hump, and you know, it just means everything. You know, and after this I'll start my next chapter. But right now, I'm just focused on my team, and you know, it's gonna be a good season. Right now, I've committed to FIU, and so I'm going to continue playing football there, and I'm going to be a business major, and so I just plan on doing that. For every home game, you know, we go to Fred's, we eat and everything, then we come back and get taped, and I just listen to music. I get my devotional book, and I just read that, and I just pray to God, and that's about it. I like some country music and some Christian rap and things like that. You know, I don't know, just ever since I came here, I just fell in love with country music. He's helped me with so much. He's been there for me on and off the field with everything, and I just love him. My dad, and he's been a role model for me, and just going home to him every day, you know, just giving me pep talks and things like that. He just motivates me to be better and be the best I can be.
You know, I think the best way to describe him is as a father of a daughter. I mean, he's the kind of guy that you want your daughter to marry one day. He's conscientious, he's moral, he's honest, he's a good man.
Christian Alexander, quarterback at Lakeland Christian.
Well, Coach, I know that life will go on, but
Sure.
at Lakeland Christian School, life's going to be different without your quarterback, Christian Alexander.
Absolutely.
How is life going to be?
Well, we're blessed, and we do have a good quarterback that we're training and working with by the name of Tyler Wilkerson. But you're right, Christian had such pressure on him to carry a very young football team, to new levels. And he just responded amazingly, not only athletically but mentally, leadership-wise. I mean, his moral character was strong, and the guys looked at that, and we progressed because of Christian Alexander at Lakeland Christian School.
When you look at his accomplishments, and I kind of alluded to this earlier, but he's the #1 passer in Polk County for touchdowns thrown and yardage,
Right.
and he's ranked in the top 10, even almost 5
Oh, yeah.
in the state.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Tell you what, that kid, he really, and the cool thing about it, obviously we got to coach him there for quite a while, but he grew in stature every year, not only obviously physically, but just his mind concept of the game, what to do with the ball, how to read coverages. And at our school, the quarterback has a lot of pressure on him, and he's got a lot of leeway. And that guy, our offense coordinator, Danny Williams, kept saying last year, guys, this guy makes my job so much easier because he truly had a grasp for the game, and he led us and he did the things. Not only throwing the ball, but the kid ran for almost 500 yards last year, and people
Right.
forget that.
Right. One of the things earlier in the year, I guess at the beginning of the season, you lost your #1 running back, which kind of really changed the dynamic of having a great running game and the passing game, and that kind of put more weight on his shoulders,
Absolutely.
I guess.
And what people kind of forget is we played George Jenkins in that fall classic, and we go into that thing with 3 really good running backs, B.J. Sermons, T.J. Simmons, and Keelan White. T.J. Simmons breaks his leg. B.J. Sermons has an MCL strain, so B.J. was out for the next 4 weeks. And then Keelan White has sickle cell, and the next week had severe pneumonia, and so he missed 2 weeks. So we literally played 2 very, very tough football games without a running back. And so all that pressure went on Christian in the passing game, and he just did a phenomenal job.
Last year, his senior year was the most successful year in the school's history for
Right.
their, you had I guess your first playoff win,
Right.
and you almost went undefeated. The game that I was at there, that was a Thursday night game where you almost were able to come
Right.
back, or you would have been 10-0 during the regular season. So last year really was an amazing year for you. Does it, with high school football and college, you lose players to graduation,
Right.
and so things do change. But when you look at this year, are you ready to move forward, or are you kind of having to rebuild a little bit?
Well, it's definitely going to be a rebuilding year, there's no doubt. We've got a lot of young kids that we're real excited about and we really like as players. But the facts are they're 9th and 10th graders. And so
Right.
those kids have got to grow up. They've got to go through the growing pains. I mean, we're going to take our lumps, no doubt about it. But we as coaches really like our kids. They've got great attitudes. They've got great work ethic. They're great students. And that's why we do what we do, is to actually, help grow young men. And we feel real good about where we're going with that group.
Now let's talk real quickly about where Christian is right now. He's down at Florida International University, and as we were saying even before we started today, you said you think he's going to excel there.
I have no doubt. I feel very strongly that Christian will have a great college career. I mean, he's got the mindset, number one, he's got the physical ability, but he's also got the mindset. Playing quarterback at every level, everybody wants to be a quarterback until that pressure's on you, and either you can handle the pressure or you can't. And I feel 100% that physically, emotionally, mentally, that kid can handle the pressure, and I believe he'll have a great career at FIU, and I do believe he'll have a chance to play at the NFL level.
When you look at his mindset, and I only got to meet him a couple times, he doesn't seem like he gets really, really high or really, really low. He's very kind of consistent, which imagine kind of helps you.
It's huge.
When times are tough.
Quarterback's got to be able to forget each play. I mean, I don't care how great or bad the preceding play was. You've got to go into the next scene because, when you come to that line of scrimmage, you got to find the safeties, you got to find that defense, and what am I supposed to do from here? And like I said earlier, our quarterback has a lot of pressure on him. I mean, he really does. I mean, he's got a lot of decisions to make. And if your mind's hung up on the interception you just threw, then it really is going to affect how you operate on that next play.
Right. Yeah, well, and that's true in sports, period.
Sure.
You got to forget what just happened. You can't do anything about that now. So let me switch gears just a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about you because you're very much a local Lakeland product. You went to Lakeland High School.
Yes, sir.
And, of course, then went to the University of Florida. I didn't realize that you told me you almost came that close to going to Florida State.
Oh, yeah. Love Bobby Bowden. Matter of fact, I remember like it was yesterday sitting on the front porch with him and his wife up in Tallahassee on my official visit and just really loving it. And it was a tough thing because when I actually called Coach Bowden personally to let him know I was going to go to Florida, and it was a tough phone call for me.
You got a chance to be there with Coach Bill Castle in his early days. your job at Lakeland Christian was your first job as a head coach. Were you able to kind of go back and say, Coach, help me out here a little bit?
Well, it's kind of funny. When I took the thing on, he kind of looked at me like, man, you sure you know what you're getting into? But yeah, Bill has just been he's an icon. I mean, he's one of the top, maybe the top coach in the history of the state of Florida, and what he's done at Lakeland High School has been just nothing short of amazing. And so obviously I'm very happy for him and proud for him for the career that he's had.
Yeah, this year he has 391 career wins. He should probably get to 400 this
Absolutely.
year. That's 400 wins.
Staggering. It's funny, I kind of laugh. And we were talking about it a couple years back. It's like, man, how do you, that's a lot of years of dealing with the ups and downs of this coaching deal, because it's a constant something that's on your mind, because you're thinking about your kids, you're worrying about your kids. Well, how are we going to do next year? The kids are going to grow up. Can we compete? And he's been doing it for an awful long period of time. I don't think I can do it anywhere near that long.
Well, you're obviously local. You obviously graduated from University of Florida and came back to Lakeland. You have your insurance business there. People probably see your signs out there. But this really is your passion, I imagine, football. And it's got to be exciting, because you started off there as the quarterbacks coach.
Right.
Now you're the head coach.
Right.
So the quarterback, and that's a unique relationship, isn't it? Head coach and quarterback. You know that very well.
Oh, very much so. But I look back on my playing days, and I was so blessed, especially at the University of Florida. My quarterback coach all 4 years was Mike Shanahan, who went on to coach to the Denver Broncos, to the World Championships, and is a real well-known NFL. And that guy was always just so even and just such a pleasure to be around, So I had a really good role model in how I want to deal with quarterbacks. It's funny, I tend to get a little intense at times, and I'm trying to work on that. Maybe as I keep aging, I won't be quite as intense. Christian got a chance to see a lot. And my new guy Tyler's seen it a couple of times, but I'm really working on that. But yeah, to me, it's not. I mean, listen, hey, I'm an athlete and I'm competitive and I want to win. But the big picture is so much bigger than that. I mean, I'm a volunteer coach who loves kids, and I've surrounded myself with great football guys who love kids. And our goal at Lakeland Christian is to create men for tomorrow, and it's to talk to them about their walk with God and their responsibility in the classroom and their responsibility to their family. And we're committed to that. And so at the end of this year, if our win-loss record isn't quite as well, it's really not based upon that for us, because we're really in it for a much different reason than just winning football games.
Well, by looking at those parameters, it sounds like to me that you succeeded on both levels with Christian, obviously on the field and off the field, and he was a leader on the field and off the field both ways. So that, I know that's got to get you excited as a coach, but also as a man, as a young man growing up. He's not your son, but he's almost like an adopted
it's funny,
son.
and my wife will tell you he is our fourth son.
Really?
I mean, we have spent a lot of time with Christian Alexander, and deservedly so. He's a great young man, and we're going to miss him. There's no doubt about that. But we'll continue to support him, and we'll support all our guys. We have 8 guys from last year's team that are playing college football. And it's so cool to get a text from them, or Coach, man, how are you? Give me a call. So, and that's why you do it.
Right.
That's why you do it. But absolutely, Christian's going to have a great career, and just thrilled to death for him.
Well, it goes by very quickly. We may be talking about the beginning of his freshman year in college, but it was only a few years ago he was beginning as an 8th grader, I should point out, there at Lakeland Christian. So
let me tell you a real quick story about Christian Alexander. When I knew that there was something different about him. Heck, we were playing Fort Meade. He's an 8th grader. I think the score's about 48-0 at halftime. Man, he is getting rocked. He's getting rocked. And our head coach at the time, Bobby Dan, said, hey, let's get Christian out of there. I mean, the game's over. No sense in him getting beat up anymore. And so he said, go handle that. So I went to Christian at halftime and said, we're pulling you. And the kid got tears in his eyes and said, don't take me out. So, when a kid looks at you like that, because I remember some games, I wish a coach took me out.
Please take
me out. And here we
out.
are just getting throttled. He's just getting destroyed by a much better team. He's getting beat to death. And it's, coach, don't take me out.
Well, that's a great testament of his character. But also, when you look at how they are doing on the field and off the field, you are a great testament of what's going on there at Lakeland Christian. So continued success this year, Coach.
Thank
I wish
you very
you
much.
the very best. And I think we may see some of your other athletes, maybe in our future athlete spotlights. We're going to work on that. Wayne Pesey's the head coach there at Lakeland Christian High School, and we appreciate him joining us. Thank you as well for joining us, and we'll catch you next time for another edition of Spotlight Rewind. You're watching PGTV. Join the conversation.